Nimrod was the man who wore Adam's clothing, and thus became the ruler of the animals. In some stories, he is the ruler of the kingdom of Babylon, and in others, he is a demigod. Who is Nimrod, the mysterious figure who appears in 5 verses in Genesis as Noah's great-grandson? He was, son of Cush, son of Shem, son of Noah, was known for his bravery, which could be seen from his face. Abraham was the first to rebel against him and was thrown into the fiery furnace, yet was miraculously saved. Nimrod was a hunter before God. He stands out in Christian, Jewish, and Islamic legends because of his vague and unclear appearance in the book of Genesis. In one Jewish legend about Jacob's son, Esau, it is said that one day while he was out hunting in the forest, he encountered the evil Nimrod, who was also a hunting hero. Nimrod asked him, "How do you enter my place?" Esau replied, "Does this place belong to you?" They agreed to have a duel and stand facing each other on that day. They agreed that whoever killed his opponent would win the entire forest. Esau returned home and told his father Jacob what had happened, and that he was going to face Nimrod in a duel. Jacob warned him, "Don't you know that Nimrod wears the clothes of the first man Adam? While he is dressed in these clothes, no man will be able to harm him. Therefore, listen to my voice before you start a duel, require him to remove the leather garment from him and place it on the rock, only then can you stand in front of him." Esau asked Jacob, "How do you know that?" Jacob answered him, "I learned this from God's stories." Esau said, "If this is told to you from God's, I believe." While he was standing before Nimrod, he said to him, "Nimrod, are you such a hero because you wear these clothes? Are you a true hero? Put the clothes on the rock, then we will fight with equal forces." Nimrod heard, took off his clothes, and placed them on the rock. Esau hurried and put the clothes on himself, struck Nimrod, and killed him. The clothes that God made for Adam and Eve were passed down through the generations to Noah, the builder of the ark in the story of the flood, and then on to Nimrod. While Nimrod was wearing the clothes, all the animals and birds who saw him bowed down before him. Some people believed he was one of their heroes, so they made him king over them. Nimrod is a marvel and is called that because he said and threw Abraham into the furnace of fire. When Abraham was saved from the furnace of fire, Nimrod gave Abraham his servant Eliezer as a gift for the future to be called Eliezer, servant of Abraham. Before Abraham was born, Nimrod was an unbeliever in God and was proud of himself, claiming to be God himself. The people of his time were worshipping and bowing down to him. Abraham, who denied Nimrod's divinity, was punished by being thrown into a fiery furnace. However, he was miraculously saved. When Nimrod and all his ministers saw this, they began to believe in God, the God of Abraham. Abraham's choice of faith. When it seemed that evil was about to rule and enslave the world, Abraham was born. At a young age, he began to ponder in his heart who had created the world and who should be prayed to. He saw the sun rise and said, "This is the one who created the world and me." And he prayed to the sun all day. Then, in the evening, the sun set and the moon rose, and he said, "This is the one who created the world and me, and the stars are his." And he stood all night and prayed to the moon. The day came and the white disappeared and the heat returned to shine. He said, "There is no power in the hands of these." There was a Lord above them, who continued to question and criticize all the idols. He understood that all the powers in the world have a limit and that there must be a creator above them. Until God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, revealed himself to him. Because he grew stronger in his faith, Abraham renounced the idols and broke the statues in his father's house. King Nimrod heard about this and ordered him to be brought to him to force him to worship idols, but Abraham argued back with harsh arguments. When he saw that he did not yield to his opinion, he ordered him to be thrown into the furnace of fire, saying, "If the God you bow to is a true God, let him come to save you." And God saved him, and he came out of the furnace of fire safe and sound. Nimrod, who saw Haran, Abraham's brother, asked him whom he supported. Nimrod or Abraham? He replied, "I am with Abraham." They took him and threw him into the fiery furnace, where he burned and died. Abraham saw the greatness of Lot, the son of Haran, and took him with him following the divine command. However, Abraham realized that his blessing from God depended on parting with Lot. He received the blessing only when Lot separated from him, as a completely new nation must grow from Abraham. Genesis 13 verse 14. The Lord said to Abram after Lot had parted from him, "Look around from where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west." Even after they separate, Abraham feels the need to stay connected to Lot. He refers to him as his brother. And Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive. And he endangers himself and goes to save him from his captors in the story of Sodom. According to Jewish interpretation, the one who fought against the king of Sodom and returned to Lot is Amraphel, the king of Shinar, who is also known as Nimrod. This is the same Nimrod who, said Paul, and threw Abraham and Haran into the furnace of fire. Abraham fought to prevent Lot from being taken captive into the furnace again and guarded him between the banks of the river, like Haran's Lot's father position. The story of Nimrod's life actually begins in the 23rd century BC, against the backdrop of the life stories of the Akkadian kings Sargon and Naram-Sin. After the story of the flood, an event in which all of humanity perished except for Noah and his family. Chapter 10 of the book of Genesis presents us with a split or horizontal genealogy, which traces the 70 male descendants of Noah's 3 sons, Japheth, Ham, and Shem. Many of the descendants' names are those of nations, tribes, countries, and cities known to us from other places in the Bible and from non-biblical sources, such as Jonah, Medi, Ashkenaz, Cush, Egypt, and Canaan. This chapter of the nation is usually referred to as Table of Nations. As a rule, the descendants of Japheth comprise most of the nations and countries that reside in the northeast and northwest of the land of Israel. The descendants of Ham represent the nations that live in the south of the land of Israel, while the descendants of Shem are mostly located in the east. This division makes the land of Israel the center of the world. The geographic and ethnic focus of the list is emphasized in the last verse of each paragraph, and the chapter ends with the words. Genesis 10 verse 32. These are the clans of Noah's sons, according to their lines of descent, within their nations. From these the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. There are 2 exceptions in the calendar of nations, a brief description of the Canaanite border, in verse 19. And a long deviation of 5 verses in verses 8 to 13 about Nimrod. Thus, it begins. Genesis 10 verse 8. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior on the earth. This verse contains some difficult phrases. The biblical word warrior can mean giant, hero, strong man/warrior, powerful man, or ruler, unlike its modern Hebrew equivalent. In the Bible, the land can refer to on the earth, implying that Nimrod was a hero on a global scale, or a certain country, implying that he was a local hero in his own country. The idea of Nimrod as the founder of a particular profession fits even better with the next verse, where he is described as a hunting hero, possibly the world's first hunter. Genesis 10 verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, that is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. Nimrod, hunter before the Lord, is mentioned nowhere else in the Bible. In these verses, Nimrod is instantly transformed from a hunter into a king. Verse 10 tells of Nimrod, the founder of a kingdom in southern Mesopotamia. Genesis 10 verse 10. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Akkad and Calneh, in Shinar. The land of Shinar is mentioned in 7 other places in the Bible, including the book of Genesis, which states that a valley in the land of Shinar is the place where the Tower of Babel was built. In the future, Babylon will be the kingdom ruled by Nebuchadnezzar, who destroyed the temple in Jerusalem and the kingdom of Judah specifically, and exiled the people of Israel. Some scholars have suggested that the character of Nimrod was founded in legend as a kind of demigod, similar to the Babylonian god Marduk, who was renowned as a great hunter. The editors of the Table of Nations included the story of Nimrod as one of the 70 descendants of Noah. Jewish commentators suggest that the repeated mention of a boy in Nimrod and the story of the Tower of Babel is a sign that Nimrod was the builder of the tower, thus making him the prototype of an evil king. Even his name, Nimrod, has been interpreted as coming from the word murd rebellion. Thus, from being a hunter before the Lord, Nimrod became the main rebel against him. Nimrod's original story has been lost, and all that is left are the 5 verses in Genesis chapter 10. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. See you next time.